Hey, Josh Fair, coming to you. Been talking a lot about what is going on in the markets, what's driving silver in particular, obviously gold as well. Been talking about the metal wars. We've got just an awful lot of things happening. There's a lot of information out there. It's not that anyone is totally incorrect. It's just that they maybe don't know the full picture. And I mentioned today that there is a silver squeeze going on, but it's not what everyone is really thinking. They're thinking of the silver short squeeze, and there is some of that going on. There's no doubt, but a little less known. So I want to share with you what I believe is going on. By the way, I'm outside. That is actually a 9-foot vault door. That's a gigantic vault that's behind me. We're in between shifts right now. I want to do a quick call in front of this with you guys, quick video here. This is what I believe is taking place, just straight up. Remember, I work with a lot of these groups. I can't tell you certain things, but I'm putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So here's what I believe is taking place. China is getting squeezed via the buying market. It's getting bid up. It all started around Thanksgiving. Most people were gone that Friday after Thanksgiving. Phone call came into the U.S., most likely was JP Morgan, that China wanted to take an obscene amount of silver out of the United States. JP stepped in, perhaps even on behalf of the U.S. government, and said, you know what? You can't pull it from our facilities here in the U.S., but we'll help you pull and get the silver that you want. Most likely, since that moment, two things I think are happening. The Chinese are buying silver, and it's getting pulled out of a lot of markets all around the world. So there is a physical demand going into it. I also believe that JP Morgan has also been purchasing and other banks on behalf of other governments, such as the United States. I'll let you guys figure that out. So you have multiple competing parties. Well, JP Morgan is essentially the U.S. government's arm. They are who they are. I believe, and I think Vince Lancy and I have been talking about this, JP Morgan controls the largest stockpile of silver in the world. Most likely, they put a blanket over that, which means they didn't offer it. And they said, you can't touch it. And so now, if they control and own, and I do believe that they went long, fully long silver as much as possible at this moment. So we always hear about the banks are short, the banks are short. Nope, the US banks went long. You're hearing it wrong. The European banks, that aren't in the know, they're the ones probably getting squeezed, but they're a lot smaller. USB, UBS, HSBC, a few others. Frankly, I don't know much about Bank of America, but all those things said is just hang with me here. JP Morgan says, I control it. I will go in long. Because again, you can be neutral, your physical holdings. You can be fully long, or partially short. So they let the throttle off, knowing that the Chinese are buying. I also believe that there are some really big ETFs and crypto derivatives that are being set up as we speak, probably in the BRICS nations. So if we put it all together here, if JP Morgan knew there was a huge buyer coming in and other buyers coming in, they put a blanket on their material, says you can't buy it. They're the ones bidding it up. So the Chinese are going into the market and they're having to buy higher and higher and higher, step by step by step by step. So today I'm coming to you, we're in the 90s at the moment. Probably we've been shuffling between 92, 93. We could be at 120. We could be at 150 before this thing breathes. It could happen tonight where this thing gets crushed. We could be back down to 50. We could go to 150 and 50 all within a short amount of time. I don't know. There's no doubt there's an awful lot of things happening. The price of metals are resetting to new levels. So while we might see a lot of volatility, I wouldn't be too concerned about the long term. So if you're dollar cost averaging in terms of what's going on, it's going to be higher. And it's probably gonna be higher and much, much higher up and to the right over the next number of years. So I've talked about this with the thesis, and if you've seen a lot of my work on the metal wars and geopolitically and how we're losing globalism, and now countries are not trading. The battle over Venezuela, which was a very short one, and the Chinese left, and now they're singing songs in Venezuela, where are the communists, to protect the other communists. They're gone. So if we fast forward to Greenland, so quick, right? A week later, now Greenland's in play. My personal take with Greenland is I think all this cover of the NATO and the Europeans sending troops over to protect against Trump, I think that's a little bit of a cover story to reposition troops in advance of what will be World War III. So there's no doubt that the top side of Canada, the U.S., if you look at a map, if you look at the globe, Russia's right there. And so, but then you add components of natural resources. So this whole Western hemisphere is getting locked down. We're going to be talking a lot about that more on the channel. And all these countries are buying up the metal. So they're discovering new prices. So you can't use paper manipulation. People are after the physical, tangible metal, and they want it in their jurisdiction. So that means they want it in the United States, they want it in China, they want it wherever. And a lot of that raw material, and what I mean by squeezed, back to China, the input material is being squeezed by the most. So not only were they having to buy the physical, they're going after the raw material, but concentrate, for example, that's coming out of places like Venezuela is now being cut off. So China is worried that they're not getting some of that material in for their manufacturing base. The United States is now in the middle. They're going to probably mop up all of Latin America. It's probably a matter of time. So they're going to go right down into Brazil and beyond probably. So that's what's taking place. So all these things are, as you just kind of watch, it starts to make more sense. You got to have these resources to build a military. You got to have these resources. So China is absolutely getting squeezed on the input side. And then not only, and then obviously they're getting bid up on the physical side. So I also talked about that smelter, that $7 billion smelter that the Department of War, the U.S. Department of War, put in $2 billion of their own money. Financed by who? J.P. Morgan. Not only are they building that in Tennessee, but part of that deal was that the United States would get access to more of South Korea's outturn, which means more metals have to come from South Korea to the United States. So things are happening very strategically. So these assets, you say, hey, what do you want to own? What do you want to invest in? The ones that the biggest of the big are fighting over are the assets that you want to own. Don't buy these phony, baloney paper products. It's the tangible assets, or there could be some derivatives that actually physically own, audited, etc., that are out there. But this is why physical metal in the right jurisdiction really, really, really matters. So there's a lot of things happening all at the same time. I don't have all the answers, but again, I'm just going to continue to bring you guys what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, and we'll keep talking from here. Sorry, I hope I'm not rambling. I know a lot of you love just kind of off the cuff. I don't have a script. I just take this camera and start talking. So thanks for hanging with me. We'll talk soon.